Hi, I'm Janet Kurtz, Editor-in-Chief of Nfocus.
And I'm Madeline Bradford, the Associate Editor of Nfocus.
And we're here this week with another episode of In Good Company. And you and I both had such a fun weekend.
We really did. What all did you get up to?
Well, first of all, you have a new look. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Finally decided to go back to brown. I've been blonde since high school, so it was very jarring and like a big surprise to see my hair like this, but I'm really liking it. I wanted to change for the new year and I'm very happy.
It's perfect.
Thank you.
So this weekend was all about the Antiques and Garden Show. And I know you and I got to be at the Bourbon Party together, but first, Eric and I covered the Antiques and Garden Show preview party. This is the 36th annual show, co-chaired by Phyllis Vanderwater and Paula Kennard. They did a phenomenal job.
So tell me about the event. What all did you experience there?
It was so great. You know, you walk in and you're just immediately hit with this beautiful garden that is stunning. It was very architectural. And I think, to me, it felt like there was a lot of theme on like clean lines and architectural spaces. And so that was really fun. And then, of course, all the show vendors were there. It is amazing to walk through just booth after booth after booth of antiques.
It really is.
It's phenomenal.
I always love an antique mall, and I have since I was way younger. So going to the Antiques and Garden Show was just a dream come true for me because you have all these amazing vendors from all over the country.
That's right. And I always feel inspired to learn more about them. I don't know a lot about antiques, and so that show actually helps me learn about them. I learned about copper plate printing this year. That was so interesting. And then, of course, we get to see all of our Nfocus friends. And so that's wonderful. There were so many who were out, and, you know, it's kind of the first event of the season, if you will. And so we got to see all of our friends. And then this next night, for the first time ever, Nfocus covered the Bourbon Party.
Yes.
Wow.
Such great energy in the room. There was a fantastic turnout. People clearly loved this event, and the Bourbon Party was no different.
It really wasn't. And I mean, everybody was dressed. They looked fantastic. It was a very, very stylish event.
I noticed that too.
The preview party is too, but I felt like Friday night was like a step up, and not in so much formality, but just in they were on point with their looks.
And their personal style.
Yes, exactly. And so that was a lot of fun. And then, of course, you know, bourbon. So, you know,
always fun.
Walking around and you can try some of the different bourbons from the area, and it was really spectacular. This year's honorary co-hosts were Sid Evans, Editor-in-Chief of Southern Living, and of course, event planner and organizer extraordinaire, Rebecca Gardner. And so it was fun to visit with them. You know, it benefits Cheekwood and Econ Charities, so it has such a great momentum behind it, but it really is such a solid and beloved event in this community.
Absolutely.
You know? And so I'm really glad that we went to the Bourbon Party. We will be there again next year.
Absolutely, we will.
Yeah. And speaking of Sid and Rebecca, we actually got the chance to sit down with Southern Living Editor-in-Chief, Sid Evans, and event planner Rebecca Gardner, who has a new book out called Screaming Glass. So let's hear what they have to say about their experience with the Antiques and Garden Show.
Hi, I'm Janet Kurtz, Editor-in-Chief of Nfocus.
And I'm Madeline Bradford, the Associate Editor of Nfocus.
And we are so excited to be here today at the Antiques and Garden Show with definite dear friends, Sid Evans, Editor-in-Chief of Southern Living, and Rebecca Gardner, who has just written this beautiful book called Screaming Blast. I know so many in our audience are at-home entertainers. This book is absolutely for you and for all your friends who love to entertain at home. So anyway, thank you both so much for being here with us. Antiques and Garden Show is such a beloved event here in the city, and y'all have embraced it so much. I know Southern Living is such a great supporter. Sid, if you don't mind, we'll start with you. And Southern Living has long celebrated tradition, craftsmanship, hospitality. How do events like the Antiques and Garden Show reflect the values that continue to define Southern culture today?
Well, I mean, this is such a hotbed of creativity here, for one thing. I mean, it's so great to meet all these artists and makers and talented people who have really cool shops, and to have all those people come together in one place is incredible. I also think it's just so great to get together in person. Everybody's looking at their phones all the time, and you have to see this stuff in person, and you have to meet these people and hear their stories. That's what makes it special.
I totally agree with that. I mean, one of the things that stood out to me when walking in was seeing everybody talking together, pointing out the beautiful flowers and the beautiful home decor. So that's really fun to see. Now, Rebecca, I'd love to get into your book. So A Screaming Blast is such a joyful, fearless, and in your words, hyperbolic take on entertaining. How do you approach hosting in a way that feels celebratory and not intimidating?
I think that entertaining should be fun above all else. It's not hard to set a beautiful table or have expensive flowers or fancy champagne. We can all do that, and we should. But I think that the most important thing is that it's fun. And I think that the takeaway is that there's charm and fun in imperfection and a certain intimacy that gives so much.
Can I just say, this book is so fun. It really is amazing. I mean, you cannot help but smile as you're turning these pages and you're looking at all these incredible events that you kind of wish that you could have been at.
Right.
But there's some FOMO there, but it's also just it's inspiring, and it's just great to see that somebody else was having a great time.
Sure, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Which is a great story to tell, right? Like, we should have joy in our lives like that. So Sid, Nashville has a strong sense of place, and it's been, Antiques and Garden Show has been a part of that story for a very long time. What stands out to you about the way the city honors its history, really generation through generation?
The amazing thing to me about Nashville is that it's constantly reinventing itself. I've been coming here for a long time. My wife is from Nashville, so I've been spending a lot of time here since the late 90s. And to see how this city has changed over the years is it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But in a great way. I mean, I love how every time you come to this city, there's something new. There's a new store. There's a new place to eat. There are new people to meet. And I feel like this show reflects that. That's one thing that keeps people coming back, is it feels fresh every year, even though there are a lot of the same people coming back. You see familiar faces, but they're bringing new things. And there's this kind of sense of renewal every time you come to this show.
And to add off of that, Rebecca, the Antiques and Garden Show celebrates layering, eclecticism, and personal style. How do you see those same ideas play out when people are entertaining at home?
Well, I think Southerners in particular, and probably people entertaining in Nashville, have generations of things. Some formal, some basic, could be something like a recipe, could be a silver goblet. And so I think that the layering is ingrained in sort of the intimacy and softness of an evening together. Everything has a story. The eclecticism, I certainly like a mix of high and low. I would say that the garden show is lots of high, which we need.
Yes.
But I think that mix adds humor, which is imperative. I mean, just in the same way that you are just slobbering through all these incredible collections of beautiful old things, tabletop and entertaining has a tradition and it has a history, just like all of these yummy things that you're seeing, and you're creating almost like a movie set. We saw David Lauren speak today, which was so incredible, talking about Ralph Lauren, thinking about his collections as a movie set. And entertaining is somewhat a movie set. I mean, the first thing you do is light candles, for atmosphere. So all of these treasures are part of that, movie set for celebration and community and fun.
So Sid, as editor-in-chief, you have watched how the definition of Southern living, the culture, has expanded over time. And what do you think today's audiences are really craving when it comes to home, entertaining, and community?
I think they're craving community more than ever. I think they're craving getting together with people. That's what I'm seeing. People love going to events. They love intimate settings. They love going into people's homes. We had a while there, and I feel like it kind of had a really long tail after COVID where people weren't getting together. And then there was just this sort of craving for that connection. So I don't know. I almost feel like maybe there's a little bit of a backlash against the phones happening, and people are really kind of yearning for that. So I don't know. We're seeing that. We're seeing that at Southern Living and the events that we do. We're doing more events than ever, and there seems to be a real yearning for that. So we're, I think it's a way for us to bring the magazine to life, to bring the pages to life. And there's no better way to do that than to have people actually to get together.
So, Rebecca, I'd love to get into your philosophy behind hosting. You talk about confidence and not always worrying about everything being perfect when you're planning a party. What are some other mindset shifts you hope readers will take away from your book?
Well, I have a chapter called You Don't Have to Make It to Make It Happen. Certainly my grandmother was a fabulous entertainer. Her life looked very different from mine. And I'm a working gal. And so I think that you do not have to make it happen. And we're so lucky to be in the South where there are all these incredible resources. Or if you're not, Gold Belly.
Yeah, Publix fried chicken.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think that's a takeaway, and it loops, of course, back to the charm of imperfection and the joy and the fun of having high and low. And I have never been to a dinner party where you had, a flight of champagne and pea foam that was really fun.
So what's an example of a party that you walked into and you were like, wow, this is really fun?
I think great music. I think a strong drink on an empty stomach. I think flattering light. But more than anything, I think that the art of introductions, which is really hosting, and making sure that all these people that are there for a reason.
So both of you celebrate Southern tradition in a very different but complementary ways. Through storytelling, homes, food, and gatherings. Why do you think events like the Antiques and Garden Show continue to resonate so deeply in cities like Nashville, generation after generation?
I mean, you said that word storytelling, and it's a little bit of a cliche, but because it seems like everybody uses that word, but it really is why you come to something like this. I mean, there's so many great stories behind all the things that are here. Mm-hmm. I mean, you pick up any little item. It could be a mirror, it could be a piece of art, it could be something for a table, and they all have stories behind them. And I love that, and that kind of makes it endlessly interesting. And
right.
And that's why you can spend hours walking around here.
I heard a gaggle of women shopping today. They were from out of town, and they said, "Well, we have to buy something as a memory." So I thought that was kind of fun, buying a memory
Yes.
at the Nashville Antique Show. I think anyone wants to get together and have a party, and it does feel very celebratory here, even in the middle of the day. People are lined up at the bar drinking champagne and buying things and talking to the vendors, and today it was elbow to elbow. I will be signing books tonight at the beginning of the Bourbon Party, and they're available at the retail shop here or at Reed Smythe. Beloved Reed Smythe.
Yes. Love Reed Smythe. Well, thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate your time. This is great. And hope you have stopped by the Antiques and Garden Show this year. And if not, you've got a full year to plan for next year.
And we're back, and what a great experience to be able to sit down and talk to them, two true experts in Southern culture and in the area, and it was wonderful.
I loved our conversation with them because they both do such different things, but there are also so many united fronts within both of their industries, and I loved seeing how the Antiques and Garden Show really brought them together.
You are spot on, absolutely. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. Next up, we all have friends who are considered the fashion plate. They're the ones who look amazing every time they walk into a room. And for me, one of those people that comes to mind is Katie Crumbo. And we got a chance to sit down with her and explore her closet and some of her favorite looks.
Hi, I'm Janet Kurtz, editor-in-chief of Nfocus, and we're here today in the closet of Katie Crumbo. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for unintentionally coordinating with me on the animal print.
It's always a good neutral.
It is, you're right, absolutely. Well, it looks fantastic, and I'm sure you can wear it to any Zoom meeting that you go to.
Exactly,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, perfect. Okay. Well, today we're going to talk about some of Katie's favorite pieces and some really great stories behind them. So let's get started. Okay, Katie. Well, first up, we have this beautiful piece. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, this is one of my favorites. When the Frisk Art Museum had their exhibit in 2024 with Alexander McQueen, this fabric from his last collection that he designed in 2010 called Plato's Atlantis was a part of one of the last dresses in the exhibit. It was a much shorter version. And just on a whim, I got online as I was taking the tour, jumped on the reel and put in Alexander McQueen, and this dress popped up.
Wow.
I felt like I'd struck gold, and I immediately ordered it, was not at all disappointed when it came. I was even more blown away by a dress designed by him that was in a art museum that I can now touch and hold and cherish, and just a great reminder of art and fashion intersecting.
And I love what you did. You actually had a spark of creativity too, where some of us who are a little more height challenged have to have our gowns sort of modified.
Correct.
And you did that, but you did something really special with the extra fabric.
I did. I did not want to waste any of this fabric when the dress was shortened, and the person who helped me with alterations actually had a brilliant idea and put together a wrap for me using the fabric from the hem. This blue dress gets worn by me many times a year. I am a proud member of the Red Cross's Tiffany Circle, which is a philanthropic group of women who donate to the Red Cross time, talent, and treasure. And oftentimes we try to wear Tiffany blue when we attend events. Sometimes we wear Red Cross red, but a lot of times we wear Tiffany blue.
Oh my goodness. And this brooch is beautiful.
Thank you. A friend of mine designed this for me. It is Patricia Marie Fine Jewelry. This jacket was my mom's. My mom is no longer with us, but this was a piece that she wore with blue jeans and little black Ferragamo shoes. And I distinctly remember her wearing it. And it's one of only 2 things that I kept of hers, and I only wear it sparingly, but every time I do, I am reminded of her elegance and her simplicity. And again, as we were talking about earlier, things that stand the test of time and I think are really made well. We talked about this earlier, but I love that Chanel not only lines their jackets with beautiful fabric, but even puts weighted chain at the bottom to keep it down.
That's
yeah,
right.
And you don't find that everywhere.
That's
and
exactly right.
So this is a treasure.
Okay, so this one is a little funny, and I love to hear your thoughts behind this one, these 2 pieces.
So if you like something, one is never enough. So
Totally
I
agree.
purchased this lovely floral Oscar de la Renta that's longer, loved it. And then a year or 2 later saw this and then purchased this. And I love Oscar de la Renta. I think his floral designs are unmatched by anyone, and I enjoy them so much, and they're very Nashville to me. And just as an aside, the Symphony Fashion Show this spring, the designer will be none other than Oscar de la Renta. And you told me the date. What is the date?
April 28th.
April 28th. So if you are a fan of Oscar de la Renta, come to the Symphony Fashion Show.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for inviting Nfocus into your closet today. We've had a great time.
Thank you for coming and joining me in my closet and letting me talk a little bit about why I enjoy fashion so much. It brings me joy. It also is a way that that allows me to weave in some philanthropy too, whether it's at the Frisk Art Museum or the symphony. It's also a reflection of our community.
Well, again, thank you so much. We've had a great time, and I hope you've enjoyed this tour of Katie Crumbo's closet.
Well, thank you, Katie. And also thank you for this beautiful little rosette that came from that photo shoot.
I know.
So this is a very special piece to me, and I can't wait to wear it to everything. And so I'm very excited about that.
I loved every single piece that she showed us, and the stories behind them were so amazing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. No, they truly were. So thank you so much. And for other friends in the Nfocus community, we would love to see your closets as well. So let us know if you would be open to having Nfocus in your closet. Well, that's all we have for this week. So thank you again for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube, like our socials, sign up for our newsletter so that you can get this delivered to your inbox every Monday. And remember that with you, our Nfocus friends, we're in good company.
Cheers!
Cheers!